All right. Guys, I think you wrote this down last week, so you shouldn't have to write it down again, right? Even if it wasn't this version of the note, it was a version like this, right? So if you have it written down from last week, then don't bother to take it out again, right? All right. So when we write a summary, these are the things that we are doing, right? We have to find the main ideas, right? 1 second. Something just detached itself. Okay, it's probably this. When we write a summary, we are doing these things. We find the main ideas, right? Very important. So that might mean looking for the noun that the passage is about, right? The who or the what. Usually it's a what, a thing, an idea, right? So find the what, the topic, right? The main noun it's about, and important points about it, right? Now they're always going to put some unimportant points about it. So you have to be able to weed out and wade through the whole passage and weed out what is not important, right? All right, let me just make sure, let me check here. Just making sure everyone can hear. Right? All right. The next thing that you need to do is to combine the main ideas, right? So if we just write back a list of the main ideas as we find them, we might be over the word limit a bit. It might be wordier than we need. So we want to combine them, put them together. So that way we say less, right? When we're doing that, we're taking out these things here, which are really details. Right? So we take out examples, we take out statistics, and we take out other details. We might keep a general kind of idea, but we don't put back in all the specific details, right? All right. If a point is repeated in the passage, we leave it out. If we repeat something when we make the summary, we need to go back and take it out, right? And things that are not related to the topic, those are taken out too. They don't make it into the summary, right? All right, so thank you to those who submitted the homework for last week, right? Is there an easier way to check your word count? Okay, this is what I recommend to people. As you're writing it, so like, let's say this was a summary. I wrote 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in pencil, I put the number 5 on my paper. Then I write again, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And let's say I stop here to look back at the passage. I write 12 here. Then I keep going, again in pencil, right? 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So that way I'm always aware of how many words I've used, how much I have left, and I don't have to stop to take minutes to count, right? All right. Thanks to those of you who submitted the homework. From looking at the homework, here are some issues that are popping up in our summaries, right? One, remember that it has to be 5 points in sentences, so not 7. I don't need a heading and then the points. I don't need keywords. We need 5 points in sentences, right? We also need 1 paragraph for the summary. So whereas before, like years ago, you might have had leeway with this if you put 2 paragraphs. At this point, the instructions state 1 paragraph. So if you break it up into 2 or 3, you're going to lose marks for organization, right? Because that is what they ask you. They expect you to follow instructions, right? So 1 paragraph, and then also other issues such as repetition. So we find ourselves sometimes saying the same thing twice, right? A couple grammar issues, right? We have to proofread, read it over after you're done for text, for tense, that's what I meant to say, right? Make sure the past tenses are in the past, the present tenses are in the present, whatever it needs to be, that it is, right? And then a couple of instances in the summaries, we had extra new information that wasn't in the original, right? We have to be careful with this. That will hurt our content mark, right? 5 lines, 5 points. You mean like the first thing I'm saying here? I think they give you more than 1 line for the point, but I would say five sentences for the 5 points, right? A sentence isn't necessarily a line. A sentence could carry over into 2 or 3 lines, right? So 5 points in sentences. The summary itself will have more than the 5 points though, right? It might have 7 points or 8 points. It will need to have more than 5 to get the content marks. An examiner is looking for at least 7 things. Okay, any other questions anybody wants to ask? I've sent back, those of you who submitted the homework as of last night, I sent it back to you. So you can check your email, you should be able to see it with comments and a mark. As well, and okay, and if you need to go to find the recording, someone asked this on the chat, I'll say it here. So it's www. The same website, right? I love no spaces. I just have a space so you could see it. Lessons, .com, and you're looking for English classroom, right? And the password is EAST, EAST, right? Okay, so today we're spending our day doing exercises to help us internalize and understand what these points 1 to 6, what they are, right? So we're starting with, I don't think we'll get through all the exercises. We'll do some next week, but we're starting with some now, right? Okay, I can clear away this slide. Anybody is still using it? So I'm gonna count to 10 and clear away, right? All right, a reminder that I cannot unmute you to speak in the class session. So if you have a question or a concern, you need to put it in the chat, okay? All right, so clearing away. Okay, so we have some paragraphs now, and we're looking to find the main idea. Each paragraph is followed by 4 statements. Select the statement that best expresses the main idea. Circle the letter of that statement. Let's make this a little easier to read. Okay, so the first one. So this slide I will do with you, and then the others the other side you can try on your own, right? In terms of what you are writing down, what I would suggest you write down is the answer, right? So note the instructions. So this one we would call exercise 1, right? And the instructions say, choose the main idea, right? So a shorter version of the instruction. And then we can write down the answer. So number 1, people often refer to taxes in terms of there being much too high. In reality, they are probably even higher than you think, because in addition to the federal income tax we are now studying, there are many other federal, state, and local taxes, including sales tax, inheritance taxes, state income taxes, personal property taxes, real estate taxes, and others. These are just some of the most obvious ones. All right, our choices are A, taxes are much too high. B, we pay more in taxes than we may realize. C, inheritance taxes and real estate taxes are unfair. D, some taxes are hidden. All right, so the choices are coming in between A and B. Right? We have taxes are much too high, and we pay more taxes than we may realize. Okay, yes, one of them is the answer. All right, now let me ask a question. Is the person just saying, hey, taxes are too high? Or is the person saying, trying to show an angle on that? They are trying to show an angle. They're not just listing out, listing out the amounts they pay in taxes, or they're not even just listing out the types. They're saying, there are all these types and you're not even aware of it. Right? So number one, we could go with B. So this is what you would write down. We pay more taxes than we may realize. All right, ready for the next paragraph? The fact that electronic computers are now used for data processing has led the general public to believe that it is a mysterious, complicated science and that the computers are giant brains. Both of these ideas are false. A computer is basically just a high-speed adding machine that performs the functions it is told to. If the input data are varied even a little, the computer is unable to operate until it is programmed to accept the variations. The business operations it performs are impressive only because of the extremely high speed of manipulation. But most of these operations have been used for decades. Unlike man, the computer performs repetitive calculations without getting tired or bored. All right, so what do we have as choices? A computer is a high-speed adding machine. A computer is a mysterious giant brain. A computer is impressive because of its high speed. A computer is superior to man in many ways. Now, if it's a main idea, we should be able to see it in a few places. In the paragraph, even in the paragraph, right? A good paragraph would have the main idea in the first sentence and again in the last sentence, right? But you all are reading complicated things now, so that won't always be the case. We have many choices being chosen. We have A, C, and D. Well, I'm glad nobody said B, because B is obviously wrong, right? So let's look at this. A computer is a high-speed adding machine. Does the paragraph say that? Both of these ideas are false. A computer is basically just a high-speed adding machine. All right. Does it say it anywhere else? All right. What about C? A computer is impressive because of its high speed. All right. Well, they say high speed here, right? In this phrase. Do they say it again? Extremely high speed of manipulation this time, right? All right, let's look. A computer is superior to man in many ways. Okay, tell me what are the superiority. If people who said D, tell me how a computer is superior to man in many ways. What does the paragraph say? Where does the paragraph say a computer is superior to man? I think it only hints at it maybe here, that it could perform repetitive calculations without getting tired or bored, but I don't know that that's necessarily superior. So people who chose D, can you say where it says it was superior to man? If you can't give examples of that, then it's not D, right? All right, so then based on what we could find, which is the main idea, it has to be C, right? A computer is impressive because of its high speed. It says that here, impressive only because of extremely high speed and manipulation. It's just a high-speed adding machine. Right? It can't think. It can't deal with differences. Okay. The first line, going back to D, a computer is superior to man in many ways. The first line says the opposite. Look at it. You have to read the whole sentence, right? You can't just read piece. Piece of it says the general public to believe that it's a mysterious, complicated science and computers are giant brains. That's what people believe. People believe lots of things. Some people believe the world is flat. The whole sentence says, the fact that electronic computers are now used for data processing has led the people to believe that. But what they're mistaken for smartness is really just speed. Right? So it's actually, that tells us it's not D if we read the whole thing and think about it, right? It's like a student who could answer some questions quickly, but they probably couldn't tell you why they are answering it the way that they are answering it. Right? Like they just following a pattern, but they couldn't tell you why. That's the computer. It can do the thing quick, but it can't tell you why, according to this paragraph, right? If my computer is listening to me when you all take over the world, please don't judge me. I'm just saying what the paragraph says. All right. Everybody ready to move to the next two? Anybody still writing the answer? Let me know if you're still writing. Otherwise, I'm going to count to 10 and we're going to go to the next one. The answer would be C. A computer is impressive because of its high speed. Right? And the evidence, if we use our reasoning strategy and we look in the paragraph for the number of mentions, the high speed gets mentioned twice as opposed to, and the other details are really just to support that, hey, it's just speed. It's not brain power. Okay, so let's move to the next slide, right? Oh, we have a joke. What did the pirate say when he turned 80? He said, I'm 80. Get it? I'm 80, but it's really okay, right. Yes, this is good. Okay, one more. Oh crap, I put the same thing twice. Sorry. All right, what did pirates say when he turned 80? Okay. Don't worry, the others are not jokes. The other slides are not jokes, they're riddles. All right. Again, we're doing the same thing again. I know you all love that joke. I'll find some more for next week. I meant to have a different one there, but I forgot to change the words. Let's change the font a little bit here. The Louisiana Purchase proved to be one of the shrewdest business pacts in the entire history of the US. So that's when, what was the US then? They bought a bunch of land from France, the middle part of the US, right? The purchase doubled the area of the country. So now they are twice as big as they were and provided territory from which 14 new states were created. So you know in the US they have states and now they got 14 of them. It gave them control of the mouth of the Mississippi, and so they had more access to foreign trade. Before that, the waterway was blocked by the Spanish. Well, with the approval of Napoleon, the French, whatchamacallit, made himself into an emperor, but really he overthrew the ruling class, right? The land that was bought was rich in timber, minerals, and natural resources. So it was a real steal of a deal. They bought land. Dictator, yes, that's the word. Thanks, Annabelle. The Louisiana Purchase was a very good business deal for the US. Land bought by the Louisiana Purchase was rich in minerals. Land bought by the Louisiana Purchase was very cheap. Most Americans were very pleased with the purchase. Good. Most of y'all are telling me A. Very good. So A is the answer here, right? So that in your, in your notes, you're writing down answers to the exercise. This is what you're writing down, right? Good. All right. So this is too detailed. Minerals is just one of the things it was rich in. Why pick out minerals from the list of timber and natural? Well, like that doesn't make sense. Very cheap is one benefit, right? And most Americans are very pleased with the purchase. The passage doesn't say that. It has no mention of how Americans felt, right? It just says it was a shrewd business pact. And it lists all the benefits. All right, let's look at number 4. There is a common belief that while the dog is man's best friend, the coyote is his worst enemy. The bad reputation of the coyote tracks back to his fondness for small animals. He hunts at night and is particularly destructive to sheep, young pigs, and poultry. Those are all animals that humans eat, right? Yet it is sometimes wise to encourage coyotes, provided valuable farm animals are protected. The coyote will often free the property of other animals, like rabbits, which are ruinous to crops and certain trees. He's especially beneficial in keeping down the rodent population, where coyotes have been allowed to do their work without molestation. Ranchers and fruit growers have found them so valuable that they would no more shoot them than they would shoot their dogs. All right, what's the main point here? Under certain conditions, the coyote is helpful to man. The coyote is feared because of his fondness for small animals. Modern ranchers would no sooner shoot coyotes than they would shoot dogs. The coyote usually prefers rabbits and other rodents to sheep and poultry. Is the paragraph mainly talking about why we're afraid of coyotes? No, it's saying, yeah, we don't like them sometimes, but if we do these other things, we could make use of them, right? So good. So A, right? It's not B because where does it say that the coyote is feared? Any passage? It does say he's destructive, but I'm not seeing and worst enemy, but your worst enemy doesn't have to be somebody you're afraid of. It could just be somebody you're angry with, right? So one doesn't have to mean the other. A is our answer. Under certain conditions, the coyote is helpful. If you lock up your animals that you want to keep safe from him, then he will eat other animals that are pests to you, like wild rabbits and um that's all that's saying, right? Cool. All right, so we're writing down A. Okay, so for each of these, we're looking for the main idea. Now, sometimes a main idea could be stated directly, right? Which could be at the start, so via a topic sentence. So one sentence could have the main idea. It could be at the beginning. It could be in the middle. It could be at the end, right? Or it could be something called implied, which is where it's hinted at, it's suggested, but they don't state it directly, right? It is often said that lightning never strikes twice in the same place, but this isn't true. Go ask the forest rangers. Rangers who spend their summers as firefighters will tell you that every thunder shower brings several bolts of lightning to their lookout stations. All right, what's the main idea for this paragraph? Look at it. What's the main idea? There are, in this case, one of the sentences is the main idea. Which one? There are only 3 to choose from. Well, it's not the last sentence. The last sentence is too detailed. It has too much of a detail. The detail is this thing about to their lookout stations, but we don't care about their lookout stations. This is it, right? And better than what they've given us is, sorry, but this isn't true. That's important. Is whose answer was this? Annabelle's answer, lightning can strike twice in the same place, right? That is our main idea. Right? So this is what you're writing on, right? Or a version of it. All right, next one. Costs were low that year and the output high. There was a good person for each job and the market remained firm. There were no losses from fire. All in all, it was the best years in the history of the company. Best year. I know this extra S doing here. Right? What is the main idea of this paragraph? All right, if you tell me that costs were low that year and the output high, that means everything else has to do with cost. So let's look. There was a good person for each job. That doesn't have to do with cost. The market remained firm. That doesn't have to do with cost. No losses from fire, not cost, right? All right, some people have found the main sentence. Yes, good, right. The last sentence is it in this case. Right, costs are too specific. Right? The cost for a company is what they have to spend. But the rest of the paragraph is not about what they have to spend, not directly. The next sentence is about human resources. The one after that is about no fires. Indirectly is about what they have to spend, but it's not the same thing as cost. Right? So what this really showing is that it was the best year, right? It was the company's best year. Okay, next one. There are great numbers of deer around here. The whole area is great country for hunters and fishermen. There are bears, mountain lions, and coyotes. To the east, there are streams full of trout, and there are ducks and geese. Thoughts? Is it about the different animals that they find in the area? Well, the country area is rich in animal species is a start, but I mean, we might say that's about a zoo, but the zoo has a different purpose than this place in this paragraph, right? Okay, good. So most of you are saying sentence 2, right? All right, so if I wrote as my summary, the area is rich in animal life. Does that give someone, if somebody didn't read the paragraph, right? And they just read my sentence, will they get the same understanding? They won't get in the animals, that's true, but will they get the same, what element is missing? What are these animals for? Are these animals for biodiversity? Are we just supporting the environment? What are we doing with these animals? This is an area for hunting. So I have to say the area is rich in animal life for hunters. I just gonna put hunters, right? Hunters and fishermen. Not exactly the same, but close enough. close enough, right? Oh yeah, you could say food. You could say food because hunting and fishing is for food. Yeah. All right. Maybe not jobs though. But definitely food, right? Okay. Any questions? Everybody okay with these answers? Well, I could say wildlife, but again, I need to specify that it is for hunting, right? Not just to make the place scenic and beautiful, but because people are going to come to try to capture and kill. All right, so the first one, now, if I just say advertising, if I tell you the main idea of this first paragraph is advertising, is that enough? Why is it not enough? We have to pretend that the person reading your summary has not read the original. So advertising, there are many things we could say about advertising. Advertising is a billion-dollar industry. Does the paragraph say that? I could say advertising is evil. Does the paragraph say that? I could say ads are entertaining. Does the paragraph say that? It does not, right? Which is why I have to say something more than just advertising. If I just say advertising, what am I? In standard 3, and that is all I could get out of the paragraph? No, I am a sophisticated critical thinker. I can say more than just the word advertising, right? And by I mean you. Hopefully me too, but mostly you, right? All right, so advertising. Okay, so some people rightly pointed to the first sentence, and then some people rightly pointed to the last sentence, right? So when we do essays and when we do paragraphs, or if we've done it before, I'm going to tell you your topic sentence and your closing sentence. The paragraph should say the same thing, but with different words. This is a nice example of that, right? So advertising affects / impacts everyone daily, right? So I don't have to say back every day. I could say daily because I know a synonym because I'm smart, right? And again, by I mean we, you too, right? Right. So that is the main idea. You could say it in different ways. You could say no aspect of our lives, forget the American part. Let's pretend as everybody. No aspect of people's lives remains, or no aspect of people's lives is safe from advertising. I don't want to use back untouched. That's a very unique and specific word, and an examiner will notice, right? Advertising sells products. Is that the main point of the paragraph? The main point of the paragraph is that the advertising is busy selling new products all the time, every day. You cannot get away from it, right? So that alone is not enough. Mariana, I'm trying to go back. I'm not seeing the second answer that you posted. Could you post back the second one, please? I got to the first one. That's fine. Okay. Second paragraph. So second paragraph. Penicillin is a very useful drug, but it cannot take care of every single illness, right? So penicillin is very useful, but cannot cure everything, right? All right. Third one now, right? All right. So the third thing, do you wear glasses? Make sure your glasses fit well. The earpieces should be at eye level. Don't try to adjust the earpieces yourself. Take your glasses for adjustments to this place you bought them. Keep your glasses in a case. When you're not wearing them, this will prevent scratches. So basically this is telling you keep the lenses clean, how to take care of your glasses, right? But how to take care of glasses is not a sentence. So I can't just write that. I need to say there are many what in to take care of glasses or in taking care of glasses. Ways, right? Yeah, okay, sure. Steps could be another thing. Things to do to take care of glasses could be another thing, right? So here we don't have a clear topic sentence. The sentence is implied. So we have to think to ourselves, okay, how is the information organized? And we'll see, okay, well, it's in steps. It's in different things that we could do, right? Right. Okay, so why don't we take a break now? Oh Lord, we went past the time for the break. So it's 12:34. Let's take a break until about 12:40. Pause the recording. You will have to remember to start it back, right? Yeah, okay. Well, what happens at first when students first start doing it is they might, like just now with the advertising example, they read the paragraph and they think all they need to say is advertising, right? But instead you need to say advertising is everywhere and affects everyone, right? So each person will have different things they need to work on, different strengths, different weaknesses. So, think about those things. All right. So for this week's homework assignment, I'm gonna ask you to summarize this passage here, progress in Samoa. Right? You will have 2 weeks to do it. Also, don't look for the link to be posted right after class. By tomorrow, 24 hours after, the link will be posted, right? Progress in Samoa. So let me send you the link to the passage. Right? It's the same link as last time, the same document link as last time, right? Yeah. So you're just writing a summary, take your time. You have 2 weeks to do it, right? This is not going to be due this week. It's a longer passage. Take your time with it. As well as some people haven't turned in the first one. So if you still want to turn in the first one, try and do that this week. And then for next week, you could work on that, right? All right, so I'll say that again towards the end of class before we leave. Okay, so now we're going to try finding and combining the main idea. So, you'll find the thing that your topic, your paragraph is about. And then there will be a few important ideas about it. So rather than give each thing its own sentence, we might want to put the ideas together to help us save words, right? All right, so let's do this one together and I'll show you what I mean. So this is our new heading. You do not need to write the paragraph. You never need to write the whole paragraph. Find and combine main ideas, right? That is your heading, and then you will write the answer. The physical environment of a classroom is extremely important because it can influence the way teachers and students feel, think, and behave. If a student feels pressured, under stress, unhappy, or unsafe, it would be impossible for her or him to learn the lessons planned by the educator. Likewise, if a teacher feels unhappy or disorganized because of the classroom's lack of order or detail, the ability for her to teach is greatly diminished. The environment of a classroom serves 4 basic functions: security, social contact, pleasure, and growth. For real learning and teaching to take place, all 4 of those needs must be met by the class space. All right, so what is the main idea? What is this paragraph about, first of all? What's the thing that the paragraph is about? What is the thing that the paragraph is about? Okay, so far I like Avinash's answer, the best impact of a classroom. Okay, and Nina's answer is to the importance of a physical classroom, right? All right, now these, okay, so let's review some of the other answers. So if you tell me school and its physical environment and how it can affect progress, the part school and its physical environment is a little different from what the paragraph is about. School is a big thing. It's like it has buildings on it, it has a lab, it has a library, it has administrative offices, it has classrooms, but that's not even the first thing that comes to mind. So we have to be specific and use classroom. And if you're thinking, well, miss, I'm trying to use a summary, that's okay. You don't need to, another summary, sorry. A synonym, you don't need to use a synonym here for a term that the passage gives us, right? Physical environment too is too vague. Your physical environment right now is what? The room that you're sitting in, or the area that you could see around you if you're not inside, if you're outside, right? So we have to be specific. It is about a learning and teaching environment too is still too vague, right? If you tell me the learning and teaching environment of the classroom, that would be okay. But we have to use the word classroom. Yes, how the physical environment of the classroom can affect students and teachers. Great. I like this answer too, Elizabeth. Good, because you say students and teachers, right? All right, so classroom. Effects students, effects on, right? If it were a verb, I would have to say affects students and teachers, and effects on teachers. Excuse me. Okay, so what now is, so that's the main topic, right? What is the paragraph telling us about it? So look at this second sentence. If a student feels pressured, under stress, unhappy, or unsafe. So I cannot put in this list. That would be too detailed. It would be impossible for her or him to learn the lessons planned, right? If a teacher feels unhappy, disorganized because of lack of order or detail, the ability to teach is greatly diminished. So the environment has to help. Okay, so what else do we think is important from here? Okay, so what does the classroom have to provide, or how must it make students and teachers feel? So it must give, they tell us, security, all right, yeah, okay. So now my issue is, now I'm thinking, well, they said security, I should try and use a different word, right? It also helps social contact. So it helps kids and teachers socialize, right? Socialization. I'll have to put in a word here when I write to the point, right? What else? It should be fun, pleasure, fun, right? And it must allow for growth. So it must help people. What's another word I could use instead of growth, guys? Progress, yes, that could work. Development could also work, right? Yeah, I was thinking develop. Evolve is nice too, right? Yes. Okay, so progress, evolve, develop. All right, how are most classrooms, let's step away from paragraph for a minute, right? Let's just check our understanding here. How are most classrooms set up? Do the students face each other or do they face the front of the classroom? Most classrooms are set up for people to face the front, right? Have you ever gotten to sit in a classroom where it was a group setting? So like 4 of you might sit at a table facing each other, or 6 of you facing each other, or a circle, you could sit around a circle, or seminar style. Sometimes that's when tables are like this, and up here is the teacher's desk and the board. Do you which would you prefer a different way to sit? Like this is seminar style, so sides and you face the front, right? But then there's also a baby school, yes, the 4 tables together. You could sit like this, or you could sit around a table and people around it. Well, if you are facing front, when the teacher asks a question, if you are sitting in front, what does that mean for the people in front? Do they have to answer the question in your class? Anybody ever sits in front and you worried because the teacher might see you first, fall on you? The teacher ignores you. Yeah, that's so funny. Okay. Well, but okay, has anyone ever felt unsafe in a classroom? I'm just trying to make sure we understand what the paragraph is telling us. Okay, so we can't identify with these other seating arrangements. Let me take this off. All right. Okay, so all right. Let's just write out our points then. Okay, so we want to say that the classroom is important for all these reasons. The physical environment of a classroom is important for all these reasons, right? And we want to combine these we want to combine these ideas together. So each one is not a sentence, right? Oh, okay. So the physical layout of a classroom, right? We can start with that. That is what the main thing is about. Affects. Now I'm using the verb, so I'm putting affects with an A, right? Teachers. Let me put students first. The passage has students first. Students and teachers. Yeah. Okay, good. A classroom can have many effects on teachers and students. Yes, good. That's also a good starting. Right? Okay, now if I want to combine these 4 points, I don't want to put them in separate sentences. I don't want to say the physical layout of a classroom affects students and teachers, full stop. It must give security, full stop. It must help them socialize, full stop. It must help them have fun. How do I add on these ideas to my sentence? How do I continue the sentence? What do I say next? The physical layout of a classroom affects students and teachers. Then what? Right. Okay, very good options. You all are telling me 2 options. You're saying I could use a colon and then put the list, or I could say by and then add on to it. So let's do the by one first, right? By providing security, right? Or I could say by making them feel secure, helping them socialize It's important for teachers and students to socialize. Making things fun. I don't want to write just the word fun because everything else got like 3 words. Fun is important too. And helping them progress, right? Or evolve or develop or learn or teach, learn and teach. Yes, I could also put a full stop and say this includes. All right, I'm gonna try it with a colon on top where I have a little more space. So I might say it affects students and teachers. Right? So I didn't write over the whole thing because it's long, but dot, 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 colon. It provides security. What else? It helps them socialize. And then the other things I said, right? So it's just to show an example of the grammar. It makes things fun. And it helps them progress. Right? So yes, we have combined the main ideas we found into a single sentence instead of breaking it up into 4 or 5 sentences, right? So this way we use fewer words. Right, so I'm giving you a few minutes to take down the example. I would also recommend taking down the little brainstorm on the side here. So you could see how you went from one thing to the other. I think we'll probably have time to do one more of this and then that might be it for class, right? So just go ahead. I would like you to note both examples as well as the oh, it is one more riddle. What is this one? I have cities but no houses. I have mountains but no trees. I have waters but no fish. What am I? What am I? Broke. Okay, possibly. All right, a couple of y'all that get to the answers. Atlantis. Why you know it has no fish? A map. Yes, that is correct. Okay. Oh, one more as promised. Fire and combining main ideas. Often when it rains, a particular dreariness descends upon the earth. Most people hide out in their houses, sending forlorn glances out the window. Animals scamper off to nooks and crannies, poking their heads out to timidly sniff the air for signs of dry weather. Despite the pellets of water cascading from the sky, an occasional brave soul will venture out for a jog in the drizzle. Or a bird will chirp merrily in a mud puddle, dismissing the downpour. Some people call these adventurers crazy, but others celebrate the willingness of these individuals to embrace negativity and turn it into something positive. This person clearly does not like rain. All right, what is this passage about? What's the main idea of this passage? Rain. Okay, good. This one we're going to try combining with conjunctions. Just now we sort of used a cola and made a list. Now we're going to try conjunctions. Okay, so what is it saying about rain? When it rains, what type of atmosphere is created? A dreary one. All right, so rain makes things gloomy. Okay, yeah, gloomy is a good word because it conveys dreary and it's different, right? All right. What do people do? Or what do animals do when rain falls? People hide. People alone, people and animals. Um, stay in their shelter. Conceal themselves, yes, it's a good synonym. Stay in, I'm gonna just put stay indoors, right? Or inside. Stay out of your rain, whatever. All right. What happens to some? What do some people do? So, and how did they describe those people? Venture out, okay, yeah. How does the passage describe them? Some call them crazy, and then some celebrate the willingness of this to embrace negativity and turn it into something positive. All right. So optimistic, that's a good word for it. Yeah. All right. So some venture out and turn the negative experience into a good one. Right? And you could call them optimistic if you want. All right. So I'm gonna give you conjunctions and you are gonna fill, or maybe I'm gonna give you the how to order the idea and you're gonna fill in the conjunctions. Let's see. Yeah, that's how other people get sick. Um, is it a scientific thing that when you read? Why do people get sick when you reinforce? When something they say most. So the majority of, just to use a different word. Oops, 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 oops. Right. The majority, blah, 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 blah. While some, blah, 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 blah. All right. So how would we, what ideas, how would we fit in the ideas into this sentence with these conjunctions in this particular order? What do we see? Well, okay, when the rain falls, then what? Or when the rain falls and makes things gloomy. Right? The majority, okay, take shelter. While some optimistic people what do they do? Venture out. Venture out like capitalists. And enjoy the rain, we could say, or make, well, I have here make the negative experience into a good one. But if I say enjoy the rain, that sort of implies that, right? Um, make the negative experience into a positive one. Does the passage have positive one? Yeah, it says it's something positive. All right. So I'm gonna put into a good one. Or into an enjoyable one. Can I put creatures? I think I have to include I mean, it would depend on how the rest of the summary went. I think I would have to include people. And I'm wondering if maybe here too, I have to put animals. Right? If you specified peoples and animals above, probably you could put creatures the second part of the sentence, it would be okay. All right. One other grammatical option for joining the ideas is a semicolon, right? So you could say, take shelter. So I'm picking up from that piece, right? And you put a semicolon and you say, however, comma each. Others do whatever. Others go out to the rain and see it as something, or treat it as something positive, right? All right, so we want to wrap up. I'm giving you a minute to just note what you need to from the screen, and then we're going to wrap up, right? Right. Okay, so let's just go over what the homework is. I'll hide this if anybody is still writing. I'll come back to it in a minute, right? The homework is to try another summary. And the passage that you are summarizing is progress in Samoa, right? By tomorrow, the link will be up. But if you want to get started on it before tomorrow and then wait to just upload it, this is the link to the document, which I sent before. I'm sending it again. You can get it there and work on it, right? In anticipation of uploading it tomorrow. Okay? All right, any questions? Today we spent our time working on finding the main idea, and now we are on combining the main idea, right? Next week, we have a little more of this to do, and then we have to talk about deleting examples and details, right? All right, so once y'all are done with the note and you know what you're supposed to do, y'all are free to go, right? Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, guys. I'll post a link to a Google form on the website, so you'll submit it there. Remember this, you have 2 weeks to do this, right? So y'all could always message me if you're having trouble or you can't remember how to submit or where to get it, etc. Welcome, everybody. Take care.